What's up? Welcome to Models and Agents, episode 112 on July 15th, 2026. Let's see what's shipped. Your daily briefing on the AI models and agents that are changing everything. And no, not those kinds of models and agents. Let's get into it. Browser inference just got a serious upgrade. Google's LiteRT.js now runs .TFLite models directly via WebGPU with up to 3 times gains over prior web runtimes. Google released LiteRT.js on July 9th, 2026. It is a JavaScript binding of the LiteRT on-device inference library that executes .TFLite models in the browser. The runtime supports WebAssembly with XNNPake on CPU, ML drift over WebGPU, and experimental WebNN for NPUs. It delivers up to 3 times gains over other web runtimes and 5 to 60 times for GPU or NPU paths, versus its own CPU baseline. Tensors must still be manually managed and deleted. Builders working on client-side ML can now ship models without server round trips for many inference workloads. This continues the thread on falling token costs and edge deployment. Watch for follow-on WebGPU and WebNN optimizations as more teams test the binding. Sam Alt-Man stated that GPT 5.6 Sol is half the price and roughly twice as token efficient as the prior version for many tasks. He noted the inference team's work supporting growth and warned of possible near-term scaling hiccups. Researchers trained decoder-only transformers up to 4 billion parameters on 1 trillion chronologically filtered fine web tokens. They produced monthly checkpoints from 2013 through 2024. The models approached Gemma 3.4b and LAAMA 7b performance on common sense and language benchmarks, despite strict temporal filtering. LoRa instruction tuning further improved usability, and the full pipeline, dataset construction, and evaluation code are released. The new Candai QA dataset evaluates LLMs on context-sensitive, user-aligned answers in medical and financial settings. It uses expert curated pairs split into information assistance and applied inference questions. MTSS-Net, a lightweight neurosymbolic baseline combining neural retrieval with rule-based reasoning, was introduced alongside evaluations of over 10 models. Results highlight persistent limitations in current LLMs without enhanced contextual or symbolic integration. Gshare operationalizes the CNNP 9-step human factor event diagnosis guideline into a multi-stage pipeline. The pipeline includes evidence extraction, stepwise reasoning, and post hoc consistency repair. On Real Nuclear Industry reports, the strongest version outperformed one-shot prompting and traditional ML baselines on accuracy and macro F1. Ablations confirm structured reasoning and consistency enforcement are critical under weak prompting. Checkmarx launched autonomous agents designed to detect and repair code flaws without manual intervention. The agents target security and quality issues in developer workflows. This moves the reliability of long-horizon agents forward as teams evaluate false positive rates on internal code bases. Entrust introduced an AI trust accelerator aimed at autonomous agents. It focuses on verification and governance layers for enterprise deployments, where agent actions require auditability. Organizations running multi-agent systems should review the accelerator's integration points with existing identity frameworks. FinAnalyst combines an 8-specialist LLM pipeline over news, filings, fundamentals, and sentiment with a lightweight, rule-based vote for Bitcoin. On the final FinMM Eval 2026 Task 3 leaderboard, it ranked first on TSLA with a 13.51% return and 88% win rate. Ablations showed 8K disclosures as the strongest signal, while memoryless agents repeated errors across days. A study evaluated 7 agentic LLM pipelines on 72 real clinical cases using 1,147 case-specific rubrics. Claude Opus 4.8 with the D and C+ SA pipeline reached the highest global score of 0.594. Tool use and added autonomy produced mixed results with persistent failures in missing recommendations and overconfidence. Researchers fine-tuned LLAMA 38B as a re-ranker using supervised fine-tuning on a custom relevance dataset via Unsloth and LoRa. They followed with 4-bit quantization. The resulting model replaced the cross-encoder in a dual retriever RAG pipeline and improved answer relevancy by 14%, context precision by 16%, answer similarity by 19%, and answer correctness by 21% on a domain-specific benchmark while lowering inference cost. Mage combines episodic memory, multi-objective Pareto selection, and adaptive evaluation to study component interactions in iterative prompt optimization. On GSM 8K hard, it reached 46.4% versus GEPA's 34.0%. The prompt optimization coupling effect emerged when candidate diversity increased. In low data regimes with 30 training examples, well-designed fixed prompts outperformed reflective optimizers. Metazoa announced Org Intelligence Server for Snapshot. It delivers AI-ready Salesforce org context to admins, developers, and Agentforce. The server surfaces structured org metadata for downstream agent consumption without custom extraction pipelines. Okay, let's pop the hood on belief-reality separation in LLMs. Everyone talks about theory of mind capabilities as if the model simply understands that a character can hold a false belief. In practice, the separation lives in two narrow, dissociable mechanisms inside the residual stream. A generic value slot at one layer binds the attributed value, whether asserted directly or derived via visibility-gated lookback. A router at the query position selects which frame, character, belief, or reality reads that slot. The slot itself carries no belief tag, and intervening on it moves both readouts equally. Only the derived route depends on described visibility, and a single subspace trained on one route can steer the other. The behavior emerges reliably between 3B and 7B parameters across multiple families. When building agents that must track multiple mental states, the practical takeaway is to probe and steer these routing subspaces rather than relying on scale alone. Test LiteRT.js on a small .TFLite vision or language model inside a browser extension to measure end-to-end latency versus a server call. Swap your current RAG cross-encoder for the 4-bit LLAMA3 re-ranker on a domain-specific QA set and compare answer correctness before and after. Evaluate the G-share pipeline on any narrative diagnostic task you already run with one-shot prompting to quantify the consistency lift. Load the Candy QA dataset into your evaluation harness to see where your current models lose context alignment on multi-hop applied inference questions. Further WebGPU and WebNN optimizations for LiteRT.js are expected as more teams report browser-side benchmarks. Additional agentic clinical pipelines are likely to appear following the breast cancer agent study. More point-in-time model releases are coming as the release training code lowers the barrier for temporal validity research. Tomorrow, keep an eye on expanded autonomous code repair agent evaluations once Checkmarks tooling reaches broader developer access. That wraps up today's AI briefing. Share this with a developer or builder who wants to stay current. Subscribe wherever you listen. See you tomorrow, and if you'd rather watch than listen, find us on YouTube at Nera Network. Links in the show notes. And before you go, this show is part of the Nera Network, a family of daily podcasts on tech, science, and markets, each one a short, sharp briefing you can finish on the commute. If today earned its place in your feed, here's your next listen. OmniView, a balanced daily world news briefing that takes every side seriously. Find every show free at naranetwork.com. Following the long arcs, story trackers on naranetwork.com follow major programs across episodes: Tesla, SpaceX, AI, space science, and more. This episode used AI voice synthesis of my voice. Editorial selection and analysis are my own.